All right. So now that you understand about the overall basics of challenging your fears, I'm going to give you another exercise to do. So this is writing out your fears and worries about your birth. I want you to basically ask, what are you afraid of that's holding you back from that dream birth? And go into as many details as you can. Write out those worst case nightmare scenarios that scare the hell out of you that you don't want to happen. And then what you want to do is basically you can challenge every single one of them, but just getting them out first helps immensely. Now, before you burn the paper, if you want to do the bonus part of releasing these fears, maybe have these as a guide so that you can go in, especially if you're still creating your empowered birth plan and you're creating your backup plans. Because I do this with my clients. We write out the fears. It's like, okay, well, what if that happens? How do you want to address it? How would you want to be supported in that? What is most important to you that if you got that, you would feel a lot more comfortable dealing with that scenario? So if you have that, like even you can even do this with stillbirth. How do you want that to be? Well, my personal thing is that if I found out, like if I was pregnant and I found out that my baby was stillborn, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm carrying this baby in me and there is an option to induce and get this baby out in the medical system." I wouldn't take it. Instead, I would find ways to induce the labor at home and I would birth at home. And then I would take my baby's remains and I would find a way to make it a beautiful funeral experience, and I would probably bury the placenta and I would have all of that and I would choose that. But maybe somebody else wants to just be induced and have the epidural and be completely out of it, and it's like as soon as it's done, like the baby's out and I don't want to see it. Like you have to recognize that even in the worst case scenarios like that, and I'm sorry if that was a little triggering, but the thing is that even in those worst case scenarios, you have empowering options. There's some moms like if I absolutely had to have a C-section and it was a crash C-section and they quickly put me under, the one thing that's really important to me is that my baby doesn't go to NICU alone. Like I'm already unconscious. My partner doesn't need to be there because I'm unconscious. Go be with my baby. Like that level. Or it's like if I can breastfeed, like, and I'm unconscious, make sure that you put the baby to the breast and do everything you can to facilitate breastfeeding. So when you have these fears, you write out those fears and those worst case scenarios, as dark as you can possibly get, you need to address that because that is exactly what the medical system uses as well as their weapon, basically, to get you to comply. So if you've already tackled that, when they bring up that worst case scenario, it's like, oh yeah, but I have a plan for that. And then what do? They have no power because they can be like, well, if you don't induce, your baby could die. And it's like, well, if that actually happened, guess what? I actually have a plan around that. But until I feel that something's wrong, I'm not inducing just for a could might possibly maybe happen 1 in 1,000 chance. It's not happening. You're not derailing my birth plan just for this catastrophic thing that you thought was a bargaining chip that you could cash in and get me to comply, but I've already got that handled. So then, of course, as I said, the bonus is you take that piece of paper with your fears and you can burn it to release those fears. All right. So I will see you in the next module. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're practicing those regulation techniques and let me know if you have any questions, if you want me to go deeper. As I said, I also have the fear release training. So you can go to the fear traps. It's on my YouTube channel. And if you have any trouble in finding it or you need anything else to help you with releasing fears, you can always reach out to me. hello@empoweringmomsbirth.com. All right, I'll see you in the next module.